Hi, and welcome to the Web Development Full Course. This is HTML Week 2. My name is Bernice Tunkelman. This week we will be going over building HTML templates, a website plan, wireframe, and sitemap were previously completed. So we will not be doing that. We've been given those. We are just going to be using the HTML semantic elements, such as header, nav, main, and footer, and validate it. This is Visual Studio Code. In week 1, we made our first page, index.html page, and in it, we had kind of an outline of what the website's going to look like. It will have a home page, about us page, a partnership page, gallery page, an FAQ page, and a contact us page. This week, we will be making a template. But before we do that, I will go ahead and show you. If you go into the extensions on the left side of Visual Studio Code, you go down to the extensions icon. If you hover over it, it'll say extensions. And then you can search. The ones I use are prettier. If you type in prettier, and then I'm just going to make that a little bit better, bigger. See, there is prettier. This is the one that I use. It's a code formatter. And then you would just have to install it. And then another one I use is Live Preview. And you would have to install that one. And then there is Open in Browser. You can also install that one. There's another one called Live Server that I've used for server. This one, I have it installed. Yes, so you can also use this one if you want to use the live server. And then see, there is icons, VS Code icons. That one you can use so you can see the icon next to the file. So those are the ones I use. And then you may have other ones that along the way you'll need to enable there. And then I'm going to exit out of some of these files. Right. So week 2, we're going to begin with you create a new file, and then you're going to name it template.html. And in this file, it's just going to be the basic page layout that we're going to use for all the pages. So that way, all the pages have the same look and feel, and the navigation bar is in the same place, and it'll be using the same colors and fonts also. You want it to all look the same. So we're starting with a template, and then once we make the template, then we can use that to make our other pages. This template, so it begins with the doc type of HTML for HTML5, and then you'll want to comment it throughout so that you know what you know in the future when you go to look back at this or to make changes, and also other people who need to make updates will have it, or maybe make new pages. So it's telling you exactly what each area is used for. So the head information just is the metadata about the page, the site. After that, in the head is the body section, and we are going to have a header, and the header is the area for the website's name or logo. Now, this one, they are using an icon, and if I show preview here, This icon, it's a number, and I'll show you the page later that by putting that in there, it makes these little paw prints. So you could do that with other icons too. So this one is for paw prints, and then the name of the site, Wild Rescues. And then it has a H3 underneath that with a description: rescue, rehabilitate, and release. So that is the header section for the name and the logo. And it can also include a description or tagline. Then the navigation section is the nav elements. And this will be in the future, we will update these to links. At this time, they're not links. They won't, if you click on them, they are not going to go anywhere. But these were the same ones that we described in week 1. It would have a home page, about us, partnership, gallery, a FAQ page, and a contact page. This puts a non-breaking space. So it's going to add a space in there, because if you don't have that, what would happen is the white space collapses and it ends up being too close. So they wanted some space in there between it. And then this code is another code for this diamond shape that's in here, kind of separating each of the navigational elements in there. So we have home, we have a blank space, we have the diamond in another space, and then we have about us, and then it continues like that. So that is and that's inside a paragraph, this part, all of this. So it's all on one line, the paragraph, and it adds the spaces in there. And the paragraph is within the nav. So then after that, the main section is what we are going to use to add the main content for that web page. So each page will have different main information in it. And then the footer section will be the same on all the pages. And it also has another code that's going to describe the ampersand copy, is going to make the copyright symbol, and then it has the contact information there. So that is the footer. So, and then it closes the body in the HTML. So that is the template. So what we will do is we take that, and you can just, before you use the template, you'll want to validate it. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. I have the validator here. Check it to make sure it's okay. No errors. Document checking completed. No errors or warnings to show. So that is okay. So now I have an index.html file that I created, and I'm just going to copy and paste that into there. And then once you do that, you'll want to rename the file and the file name to index.html. And then the name of this is no longer the title of the page, this is going to be the home page, the index.html. And then if we show preview, so now it's going to look like our template page until we update it. And how we are going to update it is what the homepage is going to have. You have the header section, the navigation. The main content is what's going to be different here. It's going to include the main content will have these paragraphs in it. So you would add the paragraphs to the main content section. And then that's it for now for this page. In the future, it will change, but this is just for this week. This is all this page is going to have. We're adding these paragraph sections to it, and then everything else is the same. We changed the title of the document. So I'm going to copy those paragraphs in because I've already typed those out, and I'm going to put those into the main section of the index.html. And then if you see right now, this is the spacing isn't so great here. So if I do a right click and show, I want to format it, format document, and then it makes it all pretty again. So you want to do that on each of the documents. So the main section, all the the paragraphs are lined up and indented correctly. Everything's indented there. So now what we could do is also, we can preview this again, show preview, and that's there to open it in open in other browser. I'm going to choose Chrome, and then we see it there. This is it's not live on the web, it's just live on your system only. So it's not, you can't get to it from the web. So this is what the page will look like. And then if we also want to double check that on the validator, see, this is the index.html. I'm going to take everything out of there, put the stuff in that I just copied and check that. And got some information messages. Oh, this was for so these are just info messages. Document completed, no errors or warnings to show. All right. So now when you if you created a new file, so we're in this week, we created a temp.html file. One more thing I wanted to show you is when you go there, it's going to open up with an empty file. If you do, if you do the exclamation mark and tab, it will fill in like a default basic code. So it's going to give you the doc type, the HTML tag, the header, and the body. No, so what we did was we added some more things to that. We added comments. We updated the title. We added to the body. And if I format that, that wasn't formatted the right way. So we formatted that. So that's just how you could get some basic code. So you don't have to type that out each time. And then what we added to that is so that just gave you basic. We put in the comments. We changed the title. We have the meta, then the body. We added the header, the nav, the main section, and the footer. So going back on structuring the document, HTML5, we're using semantic elements to define sections of the website. And this is out on MDM Web Docs, Mozilla, developer.mozilla.org. There are the basic sections of the document, the header, the navigation bar, main content. We are not using a sidebar here. There's a footer. And then, so what a typical website can look like, you have the header, you have the navigation bar, you have the main section where you'll have articles and you can have subsections in there. And then the footer section over there. You can also add a sidebar too on there, aside. Then, so the HTML elements that the element header, it's a semantic element. So the is header is the header section. Nav is the navigation bar. The main content is main, and it can also have articles, section, and div elements in it. A div element is not semantic, and then it just it's a division element. You can give each div a class or ID to kind of name it, but overall you want to use the basic semantic, and then you may also have some divs in your page. So that is the basics elements that we're using for this week. HTML has the elements reference, and then there's the character reference here is how to get the characters to show up, and it also gives you some other references on there. There are some symbols also, emoji.org symbols, and the pod prints ones is out there, so that's how they got that one. And then the validator. So that is week 2, and the website that we're building. It's still, we have the template now, and then we have the basic index.html, the homepage. And I thank you, and I wish you a good week.